In the mists of time, the Japanese archipelago emerged from the sea, a land of stunning natural beauty and untamed wilderness. The origins of Japan can be traced back to a time around 14,000 BCE, when the Jomon people first set foot on this rugged terrain. These early inhabitants of Japan were the Jomon, a group of resourceful hunter-gatherers who inhabited this pristine landscape. Living in harmony with nature, the Jomon culture was deeply rooted in reverence for the spirits of the natural world. Their name, Jomon, is derived from the cord-marked pottery they created, an art form that showcased the intricate designs and patterns of their daily lives. The Jomon people had a profound connection with the land and its bountiful resources, which sustained their way of life. The Jomon culture was characterized by their distinctive pottery, but their achievements extended far beyond their artistic endeavors. They were skilled hunters and gatherers who thrived in this challenging environment. Their diet consisted of a variety of wild plants and animals, reflecting their deep understanding of the local ecosystem. These ancient inhabitants of Japan lived in villages and communities where they formed close-knit societies. Their dwellings were constructed using natural materials like wood and thatch, showcasing their architectural ingenuity. Their settlements often followed the contours of the land, adapting to the unique topography of Japan. While the Jomon culture left behind an enduring legacy in the form of their pottery and artifacts, their true heritage lies in their profound connection to the land and their unwavering respect for the spirits of nature. These ancient people laid the foundation for the rich tapestry of Japanese history that would unfold in the millennia to come. Centuries later, in the 3rd century BCE, a new chapter opened with the arrival of the Yayoi people from the Asian continent. They introduced advanced agricultural techniques, transforming Japan's way of life. Communities settled, and society began to take on a more hierarchical structure. The Yayoi people, hailing from the Korean peninsula and parts of China, brought with them innovations that would shape Japan's destiny. Their most significant contribution was the knowledge of wet rice cultivation, a revolutionary farming practice that allowed for greater food production and population growth. This shift from the Jomon period's hunter-gatherer lifestyle to agriculture marked a significant turning point in Japanese history. As the Yayoi culture took root, villages and communities emerged across the Japanese archipelago. Settlements were strategically located near water sources for rice paddies, reflecting the importance of agriculture in their lives. The landscape began to change with the expansion of these agricultural plots, a testament to the Yayoi people's ability to harness the land's potential. The Yayoi period also witnessed the development of more sophisticated tools and implements, such as iron and bronze objects. These advancements in technology improved farming, enabled efficient hunting, and enhanced daily life. The emergence of Yayoi-style pottery, with distinct patterns and designs, further showcased their cultural identity. As communities grew and resources became more organized, society began to take on a hierarchical structure. Leaders and individuals with specialized roles emerged, contributing to the evolution of governance. This period laid the foundation for future political systems and structures in Japan. Fast forward to the 3rd to 7th century CE, Japan entered the Kofun Period. The landscape was marked by the construction of keyhole-shaped burial mounds, indicative of powerful clans. During this era, Japan engaged in interactions with neighboring regions, particularly China and Korea, which influenced Japan's culture and introduced writing systems like kanji. Chinese and Korean influence on language and writing. One of the most profound aspects of this exchange was the Chinese and Korean influence on the Japanese language and writing system. Japan adopted Chinese characters, known as kanji, and Korean characters, known as kokuji, which are logographic and represent words or morphemes. While many of these characters retain their original meanings and pronunciations from China and Korea, they also evolved and took on unique Japanese readings. Additionally, the Japanese language borrowed numerous Chinese and Korean loanwords, referred to as kango and giraigo. These words are often used in more formal or technical contexts, further reflecting the linguistic exchange between Japan and its neighbors. Moreover, the Chinese and Korean influence extended to the development of the Japanese writing scripts. Hiragana and katakana, syllabic scripts used alongside kanji, originated from Chinese cursive script. They also share similarities with the Korean script, Hangul. While they have since become distinct Japanese scripts, their origins in Chinese calligraphy and their interactions with Korean writing systems highlight the enduring impact of both China and Korea on Japan's written language. This integration of Chinese and Korean influences into the Japanese language and writing system played a pivotal role in shaping Japan's linguistic landscape during the Kofun period and continued to be an essential part of Japanese culture. As the 6th century dawned, the Asuka period ushered in an era of increased contact with the Asian mainland, particularly China and Korea. While China's influence remained profound, Japan started to assert its unique identity and culture. This period marked a crucial turning point in Japan's history as it navigated the delicate balance between adopting foreign influences and nurturing its own distinct character. During the Asuka period, Chinese culture, especially Buddhism, played a prominent role in shaping Japan. The introduction of Buddhism had a profound impact on Japanese art, architecture, and religious practices. Temples and pagodas were constructed, and Buddhist sculptures and paintings became integral to Japan's artistic landscape. However, Japan was not merely a passive receiver of these influences. Instead, it began adapting and integrating them into its own unique cultural and political institutions. This marked the beginning of Japan's gradual departure from China's direct influence as it tailored foreign elements to suit its own needs. The birth of Japanese identity. The Asuka period was a time of awakening, where Japan began to forge its path while embracing and transforming the rich heritage of its continental neighbors. This period saw the emergence of Japan's early writing systems, the spread of Confucian thought, and the development of a centralized government. Artistic achievements. The period also witnessed remarkable artistic achievements, including intricately crafted bronze mirrors and decorative objects, showcasing Japan's growing craftsmanship. The Asuka period was a pivotal chapter in Japan's history, setting the stage for its future development and transformation. It exemplified Japan's ability to embrace external influences while nurturing its distinct cultural identity, a characteristic that would continue to define its history. In the year 710, Japan established its first permanent imperial capital in Nara. This period saw the compilation of Japan's first official histories and further adoption of Chinese culture and administrative practices. However, it wasn't just governmental structures and histories that found their roots in China. Japanese philosophy and religion also experienced significant shifts. Japan delved deeper into its interactions with China, embracing the philosophical and religious aspects that were integral to Chinese culture. Confucianism and Buddhism played vital roles during this time, influencing not only the governance of the state, but also the spiritual and ethical foundations of the people. Centered on social harmony, filial piety, and ethical conduct, Confucian principles were adopted as part of Japan's cultural fabric. These principles became key elements of Nara society, influencing not only the behavior of the ruling elite, but also the values upheld by the broader population. Nara, Japan also witnessed the continued flourishing of Buddhism. The introduction of Buddhist practices from China and Korea had a profound impact on Japanese spirituality. Temples and monasteries were constructed, and Buddhism's influence extended to the imperial court and daily life. This spiritual shift added a profound dimension to Nara's cultural landscape. The Nara period was characterized by a degree of religious tolerance, allowing different belief systems to coexist. While Buddhism and Confucianism gained prominence, Shintoism continued to be a vital aspect of Japanese spirituality. This period set the stage for the harmonious coexistence of multiple belief systems in Japan's future. The Nara period was a time of cultural blossoming and intellectual development, with Chinese philosophy and religion shaping Japan's identity, both in governance and spirituality. This period laid the foundation for Japan's complex religious landscape and its continued interactions with China and other regions in Asia. As the 8th century unfolded, the capital shifted to Kyoto, and Japan's imperial court entered a golden age. This was the Heian period, where culture and refinement thrived. It was during this era that Lady Murasaki Shikibu penned The Tale of Genji, often considered the world's first novel, showcasing Japan's literary achievements. However, the cultural excellence of the Heian period extended beyond its literary accomplishments. The Heian period was marked by a unique social structure and hierarchy that contributed to the era's refinement. At the pinnacle of this structure was the imperial court, where aristocrats and nobility held prominent positions. The emperor was the central figure, and the court played a vital role in governance and cultural patronage. Within the aristocracy, the system of cloistered government was followed, where retired emperors held significant influence behind the scenes. Courtly life was characterized by intricate rituals, poetry competitions, and aesthetic pursuits that celebrated elegance and grace. In the Heian period, women played unique roles in the court's cultural milieu. They were valued for their contributions to literature and poetry, with women like Lady Murasaki Shikibu gaining prominence. The period also saw the development of kana syllabic script, which enabled women to participate in literary endeavors. While the Heian period was a time of cultural refinement, it also marked the start of the decline of the imperial court's power and influence. As the era drew to a close, it paved the way for the tumultuous times of the Kamakura period. The Heian period was not only a time of literary brilliance, but also a reflection of Japan's unique social structure and courtly life, where refinement and cultural pursuits were highly esteemed. This period continues to be celebrated as a pinnacle of Japanese elegance and aesthetics. In the 12th century, the Kamakura period brought a significant transformation in Japan's socio-political landscape. It marked a shift in power from the imperial court to the emerging samurai class. This change in authority led to an era characterized by conflict and turbulence. The most notable of these conflicts was the Genpei War, a protracted struggle between two powerful samurai clans, the Minamoto, Genji, and the Taira, Heike. The Genpei War, which raged for 5 years from 1180 to 1185, was a pivotal moment in Japanese history. It not only highlighted the ascension of the samurai class, but also brought about a radical shift in the country's power structure. The war culminated in the decisive Battle of Dan-no-Ura in 1185, where the Minamoto clan emerged victorious. This marked the end of Taira's dominance and the establishment of Minamoto's rule, with Minamoto Yoritomo becoming the first shogun in Japan's history. The Kamakura period also witnessed a unique chapter in Japan's interactions with the world. In the 13th century, Japan faced the unprecedented challenge of not one, but two Mongol invasions. In 1274 and 1281, Kublai Khan, the ruler of the Mongol Empire, dispatched massive fleets to conquer Japan. These invasions, however, were met with a stroke of divine intervention, the famous kamikaze or divine winds. These powerful typhoons decimated the Mongol fleets, saving Japan from foreign conquest. The resilience displayed by Japan during the Mongol invasions was a testament to the country's determination to protect its sovereignty. The concept of the divine winds symbolized Japan's ability to withstand external threats, and it played a significant role in shaping the nation's identity. The Kamakura period, characterized by the rise of the samurai, the Genpei War, and the Mongol invasions, they marked a turbulent yet transformative period in Japanese history. It laid the foundation for the subsequent periods of feudal rule and the enduring legacy of the samurai. The Sengoku period, spanning from the late 15th century to the late 16th century, is etched in Japanese history as a time of profound transformation and relentless struggles. It marked the culmination of feudal lords, daimyo, vying for territorial control, and the emergence of visionary leaders determined to unify Japan after years of devastating civil war. This tumultuous era would serve as the crucible for Japan's metamorphosis in the ensuing centuries. During this period, Japan was fragmented into numerous domains, each governed by powerful daimyo. These feudal lords engaged in ceaseless territorial clashes, forming shifting alliances and rivalries. Castles and fortifications dotted the landscape, serving as battlegrounds and symbols of authority. The samurai, the warrior class of Japan, took center stage during this era. They lived by a strict code of ethics, known as Bushido, which upheld values of loyalty, honor, and courage. Samurai were the backbone of the daimyo's armies, and their battlefield prowess and martial skills played a defining role in the conflicts that raged across the country. Among the luminaries who emerged during this period, Oda Nobunaga stood out as a formidable figure. With a reputation for audacity and military genius, he began the process of unification. His accomplishments included the defeat of powerful rivals and the establishment of a more centralized authority in Japan. Oda Nobunaga's successor, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, continued the unification efforts. He is credited with bringing a semblance of order and stability to the land. Hideyoshi's achievements extended beyond the battlefield. He also enacted significant social and economic reforms, including the construction of Osaka Castle and fostering cultural exchange. The unification efforts reached their pinnacle with Tokugawa Ieyasu, who emerged victorious at the decisive Battle of Sekigahara in 1600. This triumph marked the end of the Sengoku period and the establishment of the Tokugawa shogunate. Ieyasu's vision and governance would usher in an era of relative peace and stability, known as the Edo period. The Sengoku period was an era of unparalleled upheaval and transformation, where feudal lords clashed in a struggle for supremacy, and visionary leaders worked tirelessly to unify Japan. The legacies of Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu would shape Japan's future and set the stage for a new chapter in its history. Rewinding to the early 17th century, the Edo period brought a different kind of peace and stability. The Tokugawa shogunate enforced a strict social hierarchy, and the samurai class played a significant role. Economic growth, arts, and a vibrant urban culture marked this era, influencing neighboring Asian countries. The Tokugawa shogunate, led by Tokugawa Ieyasu, played a pivotal role in establishing a strict social hierarchy that would shape Japanese society for centuries to come. The samurai class, once fierce warriors on the battlefield, became key figures in this new order. They transitioned from a primarily military role to one of administrative and bureaucratic significance, upholding the rule of law and order. Economic growth was a hallmark of the Edo period. Tokugawa policies promoted land reforms and stability, allowing for increased agricultural production. This abundance of resources contributed to population growth and the rise of a vibrant urban culture. Edo, present-day Tokyo, blossomed into one of the world's largest cities, a thriving hub of commerce and culture. Arts and culture flourished during this period. Kabuki theater emerged as a popular form of entertainment, known for its colorful and dramatic performances. Woodblock printing techniques allowed for the mass production of art and literature, bringing these creative works to a broader audience. Renowned literature such as The Pillow Book by Sei Shonagon and the epic The Tale of the Heike showcased Japan's literary and artistic prowess. The influence of the Edo period extended beyond Japan's borders, reaching neighboring Asian countries. Japan's economic prosperity and cultural achievements made it a source of inspiration and influence. The stability and social hierarchy of the Edo period became a model for other societies in the region, and Japan's cultural exports began to impact not only China, Korea, and other Asian nations, but also the world at large. The Edo period is renowned not only for its economic prosperity, but also for the vibrant tapestry of culture it wove, which will further unravel herein. In contrast to our previous exploration, we delve into the unique cultural elements that thrived during this remarkable era, shedding light on the diverse artistic expressions, traditions, and aesthetics that painted the canvas of Japanese culture in this period of history. Ukiyo-e art. The Edo period witnessed the emergence of ukiyo-e, a genre of woodblock prints and paintings. These artworks depicted scenes from the floating world, capturing the essence of everyday life, theater, and landscapes. Ukiyo-e became a significant cultural phenomenon, with artists like Hokusai and Hiroshige leaving a lasting legacy. These evocative prints not only celebrated the beauty of everyday moments, but also transported people to the enchanting world of kabuki performances, serene landscapes, and vibrant street scenes. The mastery of ukiyo-e artists in conveying the spirit of the floating world through their intricate woodblock prints is a testament to the cultural richness of the Edo period. Haiku poetry. Haiku, a form of traditional Japanese poetry, reached its zenith during the Edo period. Poets such as Matsuo Basho and Yosabusen crafted exquisite verses characterized by their brevity and profound simplicity. Haiku reflected the deep connection between art and nature, encapsulating moments of beauty and contemplation. These concise yet evocative poems allowed readers to journey through the changing seasons, from the delicate cherry blossoms of spring to the serene snowscapes of winter. Haiku's ability to capture the essence of fleeting moments in nature made it a timeless and treasured literary form during the Edo period. Ikebana, the art of flower arrangement. Ikebana, the Japanese art of flower arrangement, also flourished during this period. It evolved into a highly stylized and meditative practice, emphasizing harmony, balance, and the beauty of simplicity. Ikebana not only adorned homes, but also represented a spiritual connection with the natural world. The art of Ikebana allowed practitioners to transcend the physical realm and find harmony in the arrangement of elements. Each carefully chosen bloom and precisely placed stem conveyed a deeper appreciation for the seasons and the ever-changing beauty of the world. No and Kabuki theater. While Kabuki theater was mentioned, this explores the world of No theater. No is a traditional Japanese performing art characterized by its slow, deliberate movements and profound themes. It stands in contrast to the flamboyance of Kabuki, offering a more contemplative and refined form of dramatic expression. No theater provides a window into the spiritual and philosophical aspects of Japanese culture. Its deliberate movements and rich symbolism create a unique artistic experience that invites contemplation and introspection. Festivals and celebrations. The Edo period brought an array of festivals and celebrations. Some were deeply rooted in tradition, their origins tracing back generations, while others emerged as new cultural expressions, reflecting the changing times and tastes of the era. These festivals were not only occasions for merriment, but also opportunities to showcase elaborate costumes, culinary delights, and the spirit of community. They painted a vivid tapestry of cultural diversity and collective joy during this remarkable era, uniting people from all walks of life in the celebration of life's beauty and shared traditions. Exploring the Edo period's unique cultural heritage, we highlighted the distinctive artistic expressions, traditions, and aesthetics that shaped Japanese culture. It was a journey through a world of visual and literary arts, nature-inspired poetry, contemplative theater, and the vibrant tapestry of festivals that colored the lives of the people of that time. A different thread in Japan's tapestry was woven during the 16th century. Christianity had a brief but impactful presence, brought by European missionaries, leading to cooperation and conflicts with Japan's neighbors. This interplay of religions marked a unique time in Japan's history and its connections with Asia. However, it was met with resistance and persecution, eventually leading to the expulsion of Christians and a period of religious isolation. In a modern Japan deeply rooted in its rich history, there's a cultural adaptation that reflects the nation's embrace of the global community. Japan celebrates the Western New Year, known as Oshogatsu, Ochungyue, rather than the Chinese New Year, due to historical and cultural reasons. This cultural transition began during the Meiji Period, which commenced in 1868 and extended into the early 20th century. During the Meiji Restoration, Japan underwent significant political, social, and cultural changes. The government implemented reforms to modernize the nation and align its customs with those of the Western world. One of these changes was the adoption of the Gregorian calendar. In 1873, Japan officially transitioned from the lunar calendar to the Gregorian calendar, which is used by most Western countries. This shift led to the adoption of January 1st as the beginning of the new year, aligning Japan's calendar with that of Western nations. As part of the broader process of Westernization, celebrating the Western New Year became more popular in Japan, with customs such as countdowns, fireworks, and exchanging gifts gaining popularity. The Western New Year, with its focus on gift-giving and celebration, became closely associated with the modern concept of holidays and time for family gatherings. It also coincided with Japan's economic and industrial development. While Japan has incorporated elements of the Western New Year celebration, it's important to note that Chinese New Year, also known as Lunar New Year in Japan, is still recognized and celebrated by the Chinese and other Asian communities living in the country. The Chinese New Year is often marked by events in Chinatowns and areas with a significant Chinese population. In the early 17th century, Tokugawa Ieyasu's triumph at the Battle of Sekigahara marked a turning point in Japan's history. With this victory, he established the Tokugawa Shogunate, bringing an end to the chaos of the Sengoku period and inaugurating a new era of relative peace. However, this period of stability came at the cost of closing Japan's doors to the outside world, a policy known as sakoku. During this time, Japan faced not only external isolation but also internal conflicts, including the Shimabara Rebellion, a Christian uprising that tested the shogunate's control. Tokugawa Ieyasu's shogunate brought a sense of order and centralization to Japan. One of the defining features of this era was sakoku, a policy of isolation that aimed to maintain stability by restricting contact with foreign nations. Under sakoku, Japan severed most ties with the outside world, and foreign influences were severely limited. While Japan closed its doors to the world, internal tensions simmered. The Shimabara Rebellion, which unfolded in the 1630s, was a notable challenge to the Tokugawa shogunate's rule. This uprising, led by discontented peasants and oppressed Christians, sought to overturn the shogunate's policies. The rebellion was ultimately suppressed, resulting in harsh measures against Christianity and a reinforcing of the policy of isolation. The Tokugawa period, although marked by relative peace, had its share of underlying tensions. A rigid social hierarchy, known as the sakoku system, classified individuals based on occupation and imposed restrictions on their mobility. The samurai class maintained their military role even as peace prevailed, and the system upheld a strict code of conduct. In light of these historical events, it becomes evident that Japan, while navigating the waters of external isolation, also contended with internal conflicts. The Shimabara Rebellion stands as a poignant testament to the trials encountered by the Tokugawa shogunate as it endeavored to preserve control and stability in a world undergoing profound transformations. In the mid-19th century, Japan found itself at a crossroads, pressured by foreign powers eager to establish trade relations. The arrival of Commodore Matthew Perry's black ships in 1853 and 1854 served as a stark reminder of Japan's vulnerability, prompting the realization that Japan needed to modernize to protect its sovereignty. With the beginning of the Meiji Restoration in 1868, Japan witnessed the return of political authority to Emperor Meiji. This marked the end of the long-standing rule of the Tokugawa shogunate and signified a significant shift in Japan's power structure. Emperor Meiji's reign became synonymous with the modernization of Japan. A central aspect of the Meiji Restoration was Japan's eager adoption of Western technology and knowledge. The government sent scholars and students abroad to study in Europe and the United States. They returned with invaluable insights into modern science, industry, and governance, laying the foundation for Japan's transformation. Japan's modernization efforts extended to its military. The Meiji government reorganized the armed forces, adopting Western-style uniforms, weaponry, and tactics. This modernized military would soon be put to the test in conflicts like the First Sino-Japanese War and the Russo-Japanese War. Infrastructure and industry played pivotal roles in Japan's transformation. The country invested heavily in infrastructure development, building railways, telegraph systems, and modern ports. Industrialization took hold as factories and industries sprang up across the nation. Japan rapidly transformed into a formidable economic and military power. The Meiji Restoration set Japan on a trajectory of modernization that would redefine the nation's place in the world. It was a period of swift and radical change, with Japan embracing Western technology and innovation to emerge as a prominent global player in the 20th century. As we step into the 20th century, Japan confronted a series of significant conflicts that would leave an indelible mark on its history, both domestically and globally. The imperial expansionist ambitions of Japan led to its involvement in conflicts with China and other Asian countries, culminating in the dramatic events of World War II. This chapter delves into the turbulent moments of the 20th century, including the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and Japan's ultimate surrender in 1945. Notably, Japan's imperial ambitions extended to neighboring regions in Asia, setting the stage for a series of conflicts. The invasion of Manchuria in 1931 marked the beginning of Japan's aggressive expansion, followed by the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1937, which would evolve into a theater of World War II. Amid these escalating conflicts, Japan's involvement in World War II had far-reaching consequences. It joined the Axis powers, igniting hostilities in the Pacific theater. The attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 drew the United States into the war, intensifying the global conflict. The climax of World War II was marked by the dropping of atomic bombs on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. These devastating events remain as poignant reminders of the destructive power of nuclear warfare. In the aftermath, the atomic bombings and the Soviet Union's entry into the war hastened Japan's surrender. On August 15, 1945, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's acceptance of the Potsdam Declaration, effectively bringing World War II to an end. The 20th century was a tumultuous time for Japan, with its imperial expansion leading to involvement in global conflicts. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the nation's surrender marked the culmination of a period that profoundly shaped Japan's path in the post-war world. The post-war years saw Japan embrace democratic reforms under American occupation, rebuilding a nation left in ruins by the war. The 1950s and 60s witnessed an economic miracle, and Japan emerged as a global economic powerhouse. This not only influenced China, Korea, and Asia, but also reshaped the region's dynamics, emphasizing Japan's role in the development and transformation of Asia. The process of rebuilding was not merely about physical reconstruction, but also a significant political transformation. Under the guidance of the Allied occupation, Japan underwent substantial political and societal changes. The new constitution, known as the Constitution of Japan, or post-war constitution, was enacted in 1947, introducing principles of democracy and individual rights. Emperor Hirohito was reduced to a symbolic figurehead, and Japan became a parliamentary democracy. These reforms set the stage for Japan's post-war resurgence. The 1950s and 60s witnessed remarkable economic growth and development. Japan's economic transformation became known as the Japanese economic miracle. This period was characterized by rapid industrialization, technological innovation, and export-oriented growth. Japanese companies like Toyota, Sony, and Panasonic became household names globally. Japan's success had far-reaching effects not only domestically, but across the Asian region. The nation's economic influence and its model of development became a source of inspiration for neighboring countries. Japan's economic miracle served as a blueprint for nations like South Korea, Taiwan, and China as they embarked on their paths of industrialization and modernization. The post-war years marked a pivotal phase in Japan's history. The nation not only recovered from the devastation of World War II, but also emerged as a global economic powerhouse, setting new standards for development and progress. Japan's influence reached far beyond its borders, shaping the trajectory of Asia's transformation and development. In this journey through Japan's rich and diverse history, we've witnessed a nation's remarkable evolution. From its ancient origins and early imperial rule to the tumultuous eras of samurai, war, and unification, Japan's story is one of resilience, innovation, and cultural brilliance. We explored its encounters with the world, its moments of isolation, and its triumphant return to the global stage. The narrative unveiled Japan's capacity for adaptation and transformation. The Meiji Restoration ushered in modernization, propelling Japan into a prominent position on the world stage. The 20th century brought tumultuous times, with Japan's imperial ambitions leading to conflict and, ultimately, post-war rebuilding and economic prowess. We delved into the cultural achievements that flourished during the Edo period, the impact of Japanese literature and arts on the world, and the unique interplay of religions during the 16th century. As we conclude this narrative, we see a Japan deeply rooted in its rich history, yet open to the global community. The tale of Japan's history is one of a nation that defied the odds, overcame challenges, and forged a path to modernity while cherishing its cultural heritage. Its journey continues, and its story remains a source of inspiration for all those who explore its past and engage with its present. Japan's history is a testament to the enduring spirit of a nation that found strength in its traditions and courage in embracing change. It is a story that continues to unfold, leaving its mark on the world.